The CEO of the agency that actually represented Justin Baldoni and then now fired Justin Baldoni is speaking out, and he is still standing on his laurels. He is still Team Blake Lively. This is interesting. You got to hear what he got to say.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
What's up? The CEO of William Morris Endeavor has spoken out, and he has a lot to say. It feels like he's got a chip on his shoulder about Justin Baldoni, to be really, really honest. He is still standing 10 toes down on the decision that he made when he let go Justin Baldoni in this whole situation. Now, Justin Baldoni lost his representation from WME because of these allegations that Blake Lively is saying out here, okay, and has put out here in a lawsuit and all that. And of course, the debacle, I mean, they've been going back and forth. We already know about all the lawsuits and all that, right? But now we're starting to hear from the actual CEO of the agency that made the decision to let him go. In fact, he calls him baloney instead of Baldoni. He goes, yeah, I fired that dude. I fired Baldoni. So, yeah, this guy's definitely in his fee-fees about Justin Baldoni, which is very interesting. And I keep wondering, before we go into this article, I keep wondering, what did Justin do to him, right? Unless he's just very, very friendly, which sounds like here, he's very friendly with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. So I feel like it would be very easy for him to sway because he has a bias, right? Instead of letting the thing play out in court, he's already siding with one side. And of course, everybody's doing that in the court of public opinion. I mean, obviously he did that because, you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of opportunities and projects for Justin Baldoni that now have been either just given to somebody else or are completely on standby because of this thing that's going on. This is destroying his career. And of course, Blake Lively's career is not doing so well now either because, everyone's still wondering who's telling the truth, who's lying out here, what is the truth, right? And a lot of people are swaying towards Justin Baldoni, saying that, what happened to him is unjust. And Blake and Ryan Reynolds screwed this man over. I don't know. We're going to talk about more of this, but it's very interesting that the head of this talent agency, WME, William Morris Endeavor, is speaking out, and he's standing 10 toes down. Real talk. And it sounds like he's a little bit in his feelings. Real talk. So let's get into this, okay? So he mocks Baldoni, okay, and supports Blake, calling Baldoni baloney, which is bad. We got this statement that he says here in a little bit. We're going to look at, or actually not him. Justin Baldoni's lawyer speaks out after this statement. We're going to take a look at that here as well. But Ari Emanuel, okay, the CEO of WME, is mocking Justin Baldoni and throwing his support behind Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, explaining why he fired Baldoni from his talent agency. So the Hollywood honcho speaks out on the It Ends With Us drama in an upcoming Freakonomics podcast appearance that he was on the specific podcast talking about this. So again, and then in my mind, I'm like, can Justin Baldoni sue this guy right here, Ari Emanuel, for speaking out, like for defamation because of what he's saying or what he has said, of course, in this interview and on this podcast? I am kind of curious about that, okay? Ari takes a few colorful shots at Justin, his former client at WME, saying, it is a effed up bad situation with Baldoni, whatever his name is doing, okay? When Stephen points out, the podcast host points out Baldoni was on the WME roster until recently, Ari shoots back, until I fired him. So WME dropped Justin back in December after Blake sued Baldoni for SH and accused him of running a smear campaign against her. And Ari says it was easy to pick sides. Okay. Like I said, clearly there's a bias here, right? Ari praises Blake and Ryan for being, quote unquote, he says it right out of his own mouth, really incredible people who, quote unquote, never had any bad mojo out there or treated people badly. They are charitable. They've given tons of money away. Just because they gave a whole bunch of money away does not mean that they're good people. Let's not forget, it's a tax write-off. Okay, you can write it off, all right? So it doesn't matter. You can put out millions of dollars and say, look at me, I'm giving away my money. See how charitable I am? But it's a tax write-off, okay? Let's be completely real. Also, the other thing is, too, they could be on paper to them, to this Ari Emanuel, they could be absolutely incredible people to him, but then when it comes to business behind closed doors, they could be a completely different group of people. But I also feel like he could be siding, with the more powerful couple than Justin Baldoni. Think about that for a second. Justin Baldoni is not a household name like Ryan Reynolds or Blake Lively, right? He is still somebody who's working his way up the ranks, getting his name out there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's been able to direct a couple movies. He's been in some TV shows and all that stuff, but he's not that name, right? He's not Ryan Reynolds Deadpool level yet, right? Or maybe not at all. Maybe this whole thing just tarnishes and destroys his career completely. That's a possibility too. But still, the fact that you have him who's working his way up the ranks, and then somebody who's already you got Ryan Reynolds making billions of dollars for these production houses, especially with this whole Deadpool project. Okay, he's already has a whole bunch of movies that are out that have made a bunch of money. The most recent one with Hugh Jackman made a crap ton of money. So yeah, I can see an agent siding with the money, siding with the success, more than siding with the guy who's still trying to get his name out there and is struggling to maintain some sort of innocence out here. I'm just saying, okay, if Ari might be giving me that vibe. I don't know. You know what I mean? But then again, anything's possible. But let's move on. Emanuel says he's known Blake and Ryan for over a decade. Let's not forget that. They've known each other for a very long time, and I'm sure he has they have funneled some serious cash into the agency, and if not, into Ari's pocket as well. Okay, so he's known him for a very, very long time, and when push came to shove, Baldoni was expendable, explaining, I'm ride or die, and they are good people. Ari takes some more shots at Baldoni on the podcast, calling Justin a bad person and saying he should stop talking about the Lively case online and in the media and let this case play out in court. It's just interesting because you're actually doing the same thing that you're telling him not to do, which is you're going online and you're talking this ish as well. You talking that mess. Then on top of it, calling him baloney, instead of just calling him Baldoni, you know what I'm saying? Like, you went out of your way to say something. And I feel that maybe Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds asked him to speak out because they're trying to get the pendulum to swing back into their favor. Because now you have an agent, okay, or not even an agent, but the CEO of an agency, a massively huge agency, by the way, okay, stepping forward and saying, no, I'm with them. I'm with them. Baldoni's a liar. He's baloney. What he did, he's a bad person. These are two very good people that don't deserve this type of this animosity and this type of drama. Maybe they asked him to do this. I don't know. But that's some crazy, crazy stuff. And for them to sit there and say, or for him to sit there and say, oh, they're two really good people. It just seems very on the nose right now, right? Because of all the allegations that have happened as of recently. We just talked about in this morning's video where an assistant director said, I quit the business. I quit the job that I love because of how evil, how mean Blake Lively really is. I ain't with it no more. That's some crazy stuff, guys. That's a lot. And there's other people speaking out on how snobby, okay, and how she has this high school mentality of spreading rumors and saying things that aren't true. Now, these are all allegations. Okay, these are all things these are all things that are coming out through you internet sleuths figuring things out, pulling up old interviews and stuff like that. And they're all coming back to bite her right in the booty. So again, I keep wondering, is this all just, was this an ask from them? Basically, hey, do you mind dying on this hill with us? Do you mind? It just feels a little bit like that. But let's look at this, okay? So Brian Friedman, this is a statement from Justin Baldoni's lawyer, okay? He tells TMZ, Mr. Ari Mitchell is notably one of the best agents and clearly the most loyal in Hollywood, okay? As I understand it, Justin hasn't been called baloney since the 5th grade. Perhaps Ari's perspective would be different if they have ever met in half a decade. They were clients of his legacy. Now, what he's saying here, okay, let me repeat that again. Perhaps Ari's perspective would be different if they ever met in the half a decade, or in the half decade they were clients of his agency. Again, he's sitting there going like, yo, this dude has no idea who this guy is. He doesn't know Justin Baldoni. If he had known Justin Baldoni, maybe he'd be singing a different tune. He's been there represented by WME for 5 whole years. Half a decade is 5 years, and he ain't never met this dude. So why is he sitting here saying certain things, saying that he's a bad person if they've never, ever met? This is what Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyers, claiming right now, that clearly this is a bias, that he's spouting these things regarding Justin Baldoni with nothing to back it up. And now Justin Baldoni and his lawyer is speaking out and saying, yo, they don't even know each other. They've never pressed flesh. They've never met each other, meaning like shook hands, pressed flesh, for all you guys with your minds in the gutter. All right. But they never really met. So how can he sit there and say that he's a bad person and all that stuff if he's never met the man? Clearly, to me, if that's the case, if those allegations, if that statement is true, that to me sounds like, maybe the team Ryan Reynolds or team Blake Lively really went to him and said, I need you to speak out. Can you do me a favor? Because you know that for a fact they cool. You know for a fact they're friends. Why would he sit there and say they're very good people, very charitable? Why would he sit there and say that if he doesn't know them? Why would he go on a podcast, go out of his way onto a podcast and talk about this stuff? Tarnishing even more, throwing more tarnish onto Justin Baldoni's name. Clearly, this dude has been asked, in my personal opinion, it sounds like he's been asked to go onto this podcast or some sort of outlet to speak out and speak on behalf of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds to try to give them a better look. And of course, lately we haven't heard anything team that would side for Team Blake Lively. Real talk. Now we have. So this is very, very interesting, but it seems very suspect in my personal opinion. So what say you? After hearing all of that, what say you? What are your thoughts on that? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that he's doing a favor? He's pulling a favor for the Ryan Reynolds household? Or no? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. We'll talk very soon. This thing is just crazy, and we're going to talk about this more. Trust and believe. The agent, okay, the CEO of this agency speaks out. It's not good. At the end of the day, this does not make this agent, and this does not represent. If this all looks bad, like if this is looking bad for Blake Lively in the courts, this is not going to make WME look any better either. This makes it bad because then he's the CEO. He represents the entire damn agency. That's not good, guys. This could be very detrimental for William Morris Endeavor if this keeps staying Team Baldoni. It's going to be very interesting, guys. But anyway, guys, comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. And we'll talk very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.